Jon Rahm shatters the silence. The two-time major winner confronts a tumultuous crossroads as his high-stakes LIV golf adventure faces mounting turmoil and an uncertain tomorrow. In one of the most anticipated revelations in recent professional golf memory, Jon Rahm has stepped forward to address the swirling uncertainties that now envelop his career. The dynamic Spanish contender, celebrated for his fierce competitiveness and remarkable skill, finds himself positioned at perhaps the most treacherous and defining intersection of his entire professional life. The ambitious LIV golf enterprise he boldly embraced as a cornerstone for his future appears to be fracturing and losing stability in real time, even as the once familiar pathways back to the PGA Tour he departed are narrowing rapidly and becoming increasingly difficult to access. Following a hard-fought tied-for-second placement at the 2026 PGA Championship, finishing a mere 3 strokes behind the victorious Aaron Rai, the extraordinarily gifted Spaniard who continues to showcase why many regard him as one of the most naturally talented players to emerge in modern golf, Rahm stands at a pivotal and potentially career-altering moment. Every decision, every public statement, and every performance in the months ahead carries the potential to reshape not only the trajectory of his personal legacy, but also send significant reverberations throughout the broader ecosystem of elite professional golf. This unfolding drama is packed with tension, strategic maneuvering, and profound implications that dedicated followers of the sport will not want to overlook for even a single update. To fully appreciate the gravity of where Jon Rahm currently stands, it becomes necessary to journey back to the tense atmosphere of December 2023. During that period, the long-standing PGA Tour and the emerging LIV golf circuit remained locked in a prolonged and bitter standoff that had divided the sport. Preliminary framework discussions aimed at eventual reconciliation were inching forward at a glacial pace, while player movements between the two sides had noticeably decreased. LIV golf, by many accounts, was beginning to show signs of strain and was quietly searching for fresh momentum and legitimacy. Against this backdrop, the reigning Masters champion delivered a decision that electrified the entire golf community. Rahm, a golfer who had repeatedly voiced his strong allegiance to the PGA Tour and described himself as a devoted protector of the game's long-standing customs and heritage, committed to a reported $300 million agreement with the Saudi-backed Breakaway League. The consequences of that choice proved immediate and far-reaching. At a time when LIV golf desperately needed a major endorsement to sustain its credibility, Rahm's high-profile transition provided exactly the validation and prestige the league had been urgently seeking. Players who had been contemplating their options chose to remain loyal to LIV, nervous sponsors renewed their support with greater confidence, and the delicate multi-year negotiations aimed at mending the fractured professional golf landscape suffered a substantial delay, set back by a full year or more according to many insiders. What had seemed like a gradual path toward unity suddenly grew far more complicated and distant. This particular move by Rahm continues to spark intense debate among fans and analysts alike. Many consider it potentially one of the most impactful and debated choices in contemporary golf history. The aftermath only added layers of difficulty. PGA Tour executives based in their Pont Vedra headquarters held a resolute and consistent perspective on the matter. Rahm's departure had undeniably extended the duration of golf's internal divisions, prolonging what many hoped would be a shorter period of conflict and uncertainty. A seismic shift occurred earlier this year when Saudi Arabia's public investment fund made the significant announcement that it would be withdrawing its primary financial backing from LIV Golf once the 2026 campaign concluded. This development instantly altered the power dynamics, handing the PGA Tour a stronger and more advantageous position than it had possessed in quite some time. Seizing the moment, PGA Tour Commissioner Brian Rollap introduced the innovative Returning Member Program, designed as a structured, merit-based opportunity for eligible players who had spent at least 2 years away from the tour and had secured a major championship victory during the 2022-2025 window. The list of qualifying LIV athletes was notably short: Brooks Koepka, Cameron Smith, Jon Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau. Koepka accepted the offer and has already successfully reintegrated into PGA Tour competition. The remaining 3, including Rahm, elected not to pursue it. With the application window ceiling shut on February 2nd, and clear indications that the program will not be renewed or extended, Rahm now occupies a truly singular and challenging position rarely seen for a player of his major championship pedigree. The upcoming 6 to 12 months stand poised to play a monumental role in how his entire body of work and reputation will ultimately be evaluated by history. Rahm's present circumstances are intricate, filled with conflicting pressures, and appear to be growing more demanding with each passing week. His contractual obligations to LIV Golf extend several years into the future. When pressed for direct comments on the matter prior to the PGA Championship, the usually composed Spaniard offered unusually candid remarks. He confirmed the multi-year length of the agreement, suggested that the document had been carefully and skillfully prepared, and indicated that viable exit options seemed limited. He added that he was not actively dwelling on the issue at that specific time. Many interpreted these statements as those of a player who fully comprehends the binding nature of his commitments and recognizes the restrictive realities they impose. Outwardly, Rahm continues to project steadiness and focus. However, the deeper situation tells a more complex story. LIV Golf, operating without its foundational Saudi financial support, represents a dramatically transformed entity. The short 54-hole events, casual shotgun start formats, intimate field sizes, and restricted access to world ranking points had been manageable and even attractive during periods of lavish compensation and perceived long-term security. With funding streams drying up and the league's prospects clouded by doubt, the entire value proposition has undergone a profound reevaluation. Compounding these challenges, Rahm's announcement on May 5 of a conditional partnership with the DP World Tour has ignited considerable discussion and analysis. The agreement necessitated the settlement of substantial outstanding penalties accumulated since 2024, reportedly totaling around £3 million. In exchange, Rahm gained necessary approvals to meet his remaining LIV commitments through the end of the 2026 season while pledging to participate in a minimum of 4 additional DP World Tour tournaments beyond the major championships. While the public emphasis was placed on restoring his eligibility for the 2027 Ryder Cup at Adair Manor in Ireland, where his status as the sole prominent European LIV player without prior alignment had placed his participation in serious jeopardy, the move appears to carry broader strategic significance. Behind the scenes, many observers view this DP World Tour alignment as an initial, calculated component of a larger methodical plan to create distance from LIV Golf and explore viable alternatives. The route toward potential PGA Tour reintegration increasingly seems likely to pass through successful navigation of the European circuit. Patrick Reed has already charted a noteworthy example for others to study. After departing LIV at the beginning of 2026, he utilized his honorary lifetime membership earned through his 2018 Masters success, achieved multiple wins on the DP World Tour early in the season, and positioned himself competitively in the race to Dubai standings. That pathway offers promising access to future PGA Tour opportunities. Jon Rahm is widely believed to be monitoring these developments with close attention and strategic interest. Despite the off-course complexities, Rahm produced some of the most inspiring and high-quality golf of his recent seasons at the 2026 PGA Championship hosted at Aronimink. He ignited his campaign with a spectacular eagle on the par 4 second hole in round 1, a rare achievement marking his first career par 4 eagle in major championship play. That early spark propelled him forward, culminating in a superb third-round score of 67 that elevated him into serious contention. Entering the final round with the prestigious Wanamaker Trophy well within striking distance, Rahm birdied the first 2 holes to instantly pull into a share of the lead. For large stretches of that decisive Sunday, the possibility of claiming his 3rd major title felt tantalizingly real. Yet Aaron Rai delivered a masterclass in precision and consistency that ultimately proved impossible to overcome. Rahm concluded the event tied for 2nd place at 6 under par, 3 shots behind the champion. His post-tournament reflections revealed a player brimming with self-awareness and quiet determination. Rahm described his current ball-striking quality as comparable to the exceptional standards he set during the 2021 season, frequently cited as the absolute zenith of his powers. He acknowledged that the primary remaining challenge lies in more effectively converting that superior ball control and feel into tangible results on the leaderboard and in the win column. Comments of this nature only underscore why PGA Tour insiders privately express a strong desire to see him return to their fold. A PGA Tour featuring Jon Rahm would immediately gain enhanced competitive depth, elevated viewer engagement, stronger sponsor appeal, and greater excitement across premier events. At the same time, decision-makers around Commissioner Brian Rollop remain acutely aware of the delicate balancing act required. Rahm had been presented with a clear return pathway through the returning member program but chose to decline. Facilitating his readmission now, particularly if driven primarily by external pressures from LIV's difficulties rather than an internal change of heart, could set a complicated precedent. Such a step might be perceived by loyal PGA Tour players as rewarding a decision that did not initially work out, rather than acknowledging renewed commitment. This distinction carries substantial weight within the locker room culture. When questioned about any potential regrets regarding his 2023 choice, Rahm consistently delivers the same composed and philosophical response. He prefers not to dwell on the past, avoids second-guessing decisions made with the information available at the time, and focuses instead on moving forward. While these words are articulate and dignified, they leave considerable room for interpretation. The broader golf community largely recognizes the underlying truth. At 31 years of age, boasting 2 major victories and currently performing at or near the peak of his abilities, Jon Rahm is not presently competing on a weekly basis against the deepest and strongest fields the game has to offer on the PGA Tour. His path to consistent Ryder Cup involvement, while now improved, still contains hurdles, and his overall professional environment lacks the stability, rhythm, and fulfillment he once experienced. The golf world remains captivated by the question: will Jon Rahm successfully navigate a return to the highest echelons he once inhabited, or has the bold 2023 decision created a permanent fork in the road that cannot be retraced? His forthcoming announcements, strategic choices, on-course performances, and public posture will carry enormous significance, not merely for his personal standing, but for the ongoing narrative and structural evolution of professional golf on a global scale. This saga continues to develop with compelling twists, and the next chapters promise to be among the most consequential in years. The eyes of the entire sport are fixed firmly on what unfolds next.